A good coach can change a game, but a great coach can change your life. A life coach unlocks a person's potentials to maximize their growth. Interest in the profession of life coaching has been climbing in recent years, both from the client's perspective and among students who are exploring different career paths. But what is a life coach and how do you become one? We will find all the answers on today's episode of EdviTalks. Hi, this is Shanoli Ray and welcome to EdviTalks, a show about career and job prospects. Today, we have with us a successful life coach and motivator, Mrs. Arpita Ghosh, who uses expressive arts and mindfulness as tools for training and coaching. Currently associated with Christ University Lavasa as senior counselor and life coach, Arpita Ghosh is adept at working on behavioral changes and has the psychological understanding. Trained and mentored by Dr. Tushar Guha and Swami Brahma Vidyananda, Arpita exhibits a fine blend of holistic approach in all her training programs. With over 12 years of experience in training and facilitation programs for middle and senior management, Arpita has successfully trained across industries: hospitality, IT, education, service, pharma, media, real estate, customer relationship, and service, to name a few. Arpita's innate ability to connect with people and counseling skills has been instrumental in creating an impact on individuals to bring about a desired change in professional and personal life. A master's in chemistry, Arpita experienced her crucible moment in the journey of life to reach where she is today. Her learnings come from the school of life, nature, books, internet, and people. She has traveled extensively in the US since 1999, empowering individuals in communication skills, leadership skills, and emotional intelligence is her areas of expertise, which include life and soft skills. She has won the Excellence Award 2021 in the field of mental health well-being. Also, an award for the Most Promising Counselor 2021 from Asian African Chamber of Commerce and Industry. She was also awarded by Architects Talks for Best Motivational Speaker. She has co-authored 9 books in a span of 9 months and is still counting. She writes quotes, poems, life stories, and love stories. An orator who can connect to all irrespective of age and gender, she was a TEDx speaker in the summer of 2021. So let's welcome a very distinguished life coach, Mrs. Arpita Ghosh, on our talk show, EdviTalks. A very warm welcome to Arpita Ghosh, ma'am, on EdviTalks show. It's a pleasure to have you over here, and you have taken time out to discuss things in our talk show. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Shanoli. It's my pleasure too to be here. So yes.
Yes. As you know, we in this talk show we are discussing about various career prospects. So I would like to ask you, why did you choose this career option as a life coach and counselor? Please tell me in details about your career path, your educational background. How did you come into this profession and all?
Well, that really is a very, like it's a question which has a very interesting answer and a long answer because I haven't reached here just like that. Uh, if you have to ask me my educational qualifications, I have done my master's in physical chemistry. And one would wonder, like, where is chemistry and what am I doing over here? But then it's not that it's been like, a direct jump over here. Way back in the 90s, early 90s, we didn't have so much of career guidance. We didn't really have so many options. So it was left for me to actually explore what is it that I wanted to do. Because I just moved from high secondary to BSc to MSc, after which I started questioning what next. And just going by the basic, like how we say our aptitude, our interests, and personality. Based on that, you choose a career. So I said, okay, I enjoy traveling. I enjoy meeting people. I think sales and marketing is what I'm fit for. And that's how began a series of sales and marketing jobs, beginning with Eureka Forbes. In fact, I worked with some of the best companies. Like I started with Eureka Forbes, and then there was HCL Computers, ITW Signode, Advani Olicon. My last stint was with Sterling Holiday Resorts, which was into like concept selling. And that's where I felt that no, uh, marketing is just not my job. I just couldn't do it anymore. So I told my parents, I said, I'm done, like, And I kind of just, again, gave in my resignation, sat back at home. But then how long does one sit at home? So I picked up a stopgap job with Ask Me Services, which was more about giving information on telephone. And I'm really grateful for that particular stopgap job for the simple reason that is where I realized that I've got a great voice. And because every second caller would like literally compliment me on my voice. So then I said, if I've got a voice like वो कहते हैं ना अगर आवाज है तो let the world hear it. And that's when I went ahead and did my certificate course in voice modulation at Indian American Society. And my mentor over there, Ram Singh Pawar, he said, why don't you go and give an audition at Akashvani? So I said, okay. So I went to Akashvani Mumbai, gave in an audition, and I got selected as a casual announcer there. And I think it was my first duty in the studio over there when I just sat behind the consoles. I said, wow, this is where I want to be. So there was no looking back after I got into announcement as an announcer, because from there, my voiceover career started. I used to do a lot of freelancing voiceovers, whether it was for documentary or whether it was for ad films. And then I got into radio production, from producing radio programs with DSJ Radio, that's the Dalal Street Journal. So we were producing stock market news. I got into advertising. Advertising, again, production of ad films, writing copy, making, like corporate films, script writing. So that led me again to the world of television. Got into television, assisting in direction for tele-serials. And then I exploded right through with journalism. From journalism, I went into the .com, because by then, early 2000, .com had come up in a big way. So again, I settled down with a job with 123india.com. And I thought, okay, this is it, like. But unfortunately, the .com bubble also burst. But what stayed with me was my freelance assignments in, like journalism and voiceovers. But then I said, okay, now what, like, I mean, assignments I am doing, but there should be something like a proper career. So with all the exposure that I had in media, I was invited as a visiting faculty for media students. And that's when my career as a teacher began. So I realized that I really enjoyed teaching, like, and especially since I was teaching media, something which I had learned everything hands-on. Mind you, I didn't do any course in media, but it was a total hands-on learning which was there. So as I enjoyed teaching the students, but then I also realized I need to do something more, because by then I understood my potential as an effective communicator. And power of communication is, I'm sure you will also agree, is so great that it
Yes.
becomes very important to, if you can use it constructively, if you can use it positively, if you can use it to create an impact on somebody's life, it gives you a lot more satisfaction. So again, I got into the path of exploring my own potential. That's when I did my diploma in counseling and personality development. And then again, I got into corporate training, and I was doing like one-on-one counseling and training sessions. And I said, okay, I think this is more satisfying. So while I was exploring that, but the creative Kira had not left me behind, like in the sense, like I said, I come from media. So, but psychotherapy was what offered me, again, the platform to explore the creative side of me further. And that's when I went on to do dance movement therapy, voice movement therapy, psychodrama, using art, visual arts. So drama based training. And I started using the expressive arts into my training modules, which made it like, a class apart, because I was not using the typical PowerPoint thing. And as I kept exploring my journey through, like, training and facilitation, there again, it just went from one phase to another. And then it's like you do understand it just doesn't stop with, doing your certification and training. So then you go on adding on. That's how like life coach certification happened, NLP happened. And yeah, so finally I have reached here where I am today at Christ Lavasa. It's been 4 years since I've joined this place. So for me, who's always been a traveler, who's always been exploring, moving on from one to the other, taking up a full-time job was a big challenge for me. And I I was very skeptical, so the moment I completed 1 month over here, I said, wow, 1 month down. Soon I completed a year, 1 year down, second year, third year. Touch wood, it's still going good. So I think I can say I found my life purpose finally, my calling, and the place and everything else. So yeah, that's been my beautiful journey.
Yeah, quite versatile, I would say. A versatile career background, I would say. So now that hopefully you have settled down over there.
Right.
I would like to know what kind of job responsibilities are there in your career, like as a life coach, and you were discussing about various techniques that you use.
Absolutely.
So please elaborately discuss about the job responsibilities. How do
Okay.
you use and
All
research
right.
on your client and all? So
Sure, I will. So there are two aspects now what we're going to be talking about over here, because again over here what has happened is you would have realized that mental health counseling and career counseling have come up in a big way, both of which are again, like, part
a
of what
trending
we
career
take care
option.
of.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
becoming a
trending
trending
career
career
options,
option.
like, yeah, career counseling has really come up in a big way now. And ever since pandemic, yeah, mental health counseling also. So as a senior counselor in Christ, when it comes to counseling, my job responsibilities include, like, talking to students, and especially like when it comes to, because at Christ, we are very particular about attendance, about discipline, punctuality. So when we find that our students are not really, attending their classes regularly, their attendance is dropping. So we tend to probe and find out, like, why is their attendance dropping? Or if they have too many of first star class missing. what are their sleeping habits because of which they are not able to, reach college on time. And that sometimes leads to sometimes certain personal issues, or sometimes it's just plain laziness. So it's addressing those issues that are there amongst the youth of today. Uh, Also, with respect to their academic performance, the moment we finish with the midterm exams or the end-term exams, depending on their results, we again talk to them, because here again you realize the other things that come up for most of the youth today, which is anxiety, short span of attention. So again, addressing these things are there. And then, of course, like I said, career counseling, because once they have decided which course they want to, like, so it begins right from the time, you're done with the 12th. So from then on, we start with the career guidance workshops. We address the students on the various options that they have and what are the kind of trending jobs that are there today. So giving them all those inputs, and then once they join in our campus, then it is those one-on-one interactions to ensure that kind of career mapping that happens. In the sense, you've taken a particular course, but finally, from point A, where is it that you want to go next? To reach that point next, it's not just the course degree which matters. It's also about the kind of extracurricular activities you do, the internships that you take up, how much of weight that carries. Because for those students who are going to be pursuing their studies abroad, a lot of weightage is given to the kind of internships you're doing, which again gets connected to the course you're going to pursue abroad, like, because that matching also has to be there. And then it's also checking, like, on that one-on-one interaction, what are the challenges they face. Based on those challenges, you realize there are certain weak points. I mean, every individual has their own like weaknesses. So based on that, we come up with the kind of training sessions that are required and arrange for those training sessions to happen. So that's as far as, like, the counseling part of it comes. And of course, there are psychoeducation classes also, which we take. Other than that, when we are talking about the life coaching part of it, now life coaching part of it is largely a one-on-one basis coaching which happens. Again, over here, what happens is, yes, there are, you have a typical framework, a typical structure, but as a counselor, as a coach, I will always tell everybody, yes, we need to keep the structure and frame over here, but when we are talking to the person in front of us, we talk from here. Because if we don't talk from this standpoint, then I think we are really missing out on the basic essence of the work that we do. So when it comes to coaching, what really happens is most often professionals are stuck not because of their, like, professionalism in terms of, experience, domain knowledge. Most people have that. But if at all they are getting stuck in the profession, it's because of certain personality traits or certain personal issues. And that's where the life coach comes in, because it's like, life has its own lessons. How do we meet up with those, challenges that life throws at us, and how we overcome those challenges, which helps us to strike the balance and take our professional as well as personal life ahead. So, yeah.
That's you explained quite elaborately, because you see these days, these both the career counseling and the life coaching options as profession is getting very much popularized, and especially after this pandemic happened, this mental wellness is being the center
Absolutely.
of discussion everywhere. So now tell me, what are the particular skills required if anyone, the next generation, the new generation students want to come in this profession? So as a counselor or as a life coach, what skills do they require? Because you see, not everybody, like you have explored so many career options, and finally you could find out that what is your purpose.
Right.
Profession should
Okay.
be.
So when I would talk about the skills over here, Shanoli, I would say what is very important are basic human skills, because both, whether you're talking about counseling, whether you're talking about life coaching, uh, they require us to be human beings. And when I say human beings, um, individuals who are in touch with their own emotions, which means we need to have that kind of emotional intelligence. It also requires listening skills, observation skills, effective communication skills. And when I say effective communication skills, it's about being able to articulate, it's about knowing how to ask the right questions. Because, if you ask the right questions, you're bound to get the right answer. There are times when we are not able to frame our questions right, and then we keep moving around in circles. So which is why effective communication skills includes, a command of the language, as well as being articulate enough. And there are three basic core needs every individual has, and that is to be seen, to be heard, and to be valued. So this again, we need to ensure that we are giving it to anyone who's coming to us for counseling or for coaching, because when we follow these three basic core needs, when we are able to give that to the other person, that is when we are able to connect with the other person.
Yes.
So, it's the body language, it's how approachable we are, how open we are. And these are small things, but it helps to connect with the other person. It helps to build up the ability of the other person to trust in us, because trust is a very, very basic factor which is required between the coach and the coachee, between the counselor and the counselee, or between the mentor and mentee. So trust has to be established right from day one. And that can only happen with the way you connect with the other person. So, which is why I say that it's very important that, yes, I am not saying that, kind of keep everything else aside. Yes, it can be our bread and butter, but just because it's our bread and butter, we need to also put our heart into it,
Yes.
because that is a very, very important factor. So if we can do that, then I think we really got it. Because today, if I am not able to connect with the other person, and I'm sure you would agree with me when I say that if I have to bring about a change in my life or change in my habit, I alone can decide. Many people will be there to tell me what to do, what not to do. But even if I have to go by what one person is telling me, that person has to impact me over here. And that can only happen when there is that kind of a connect with the other person, where I can believe, I can agree, I can see. And that is when I am able to bring about or impact a behavioral change in the other person. Which brings us to the next skill which is required, that is confidence and speaking with conviction. Because today we have a lot of books in the market, we have a lot of YouTube talks, and everything's available digitally or in the print format. So where does this personal connect? I mean, people can always read and take the inputs, but somebody who has the experience, who has seen life for what it is, when they talk with conviction, they talk with confidence. That is when the other person can say that, okay, this person makes sense. Yes, absolutely. You can relate to it. So I think these are some of the skills that one could put down that are required.
Yes. Now tell me, if someone chooses this career option, so what will be the career progression for that individual? Means from where they could start, and what will be there in future, where they could reach actually. Like you have, when at the beginning you have certain amount of exposure, and now you are quite experienced and all, so you have reached a certain level. So how can one develop in someone into
Yes,
this?
so it's all about like, because over here, in fact, anybody who wants to get into counseling, I mean, one is depending on what course you have done. Now, for me, if you see, like I said, I did my diploma in counseling and personality development under Dr. Tushar Guha, and I moved ahead from there. Whereas today, if you look at the courses that are offered, because some of our counselors, I mean, they have done their MA in psychology, some have done their clinical psychology. So if you do these courses, like, I mean, you anyway are getting into counseling, whether it is at the hospital level, whether it is at the educational level, as an educational institute, or you can also look at the option of starting up with your own counseling center. So depending on what kind of financial backing you have and what course you have done, based on that, you have to take a call on what kind of counseling you want to get into. And if you talk about what is a career scope, then yes, if you're working for any particular organization, then it's like, you can just grow to the highest level of whatever their hierarchy is. Beyond that, there's nothing, or otherwise you set up your own outfit, and which is what today many people are also doing, setting up their own teams of, like counselors, because ever since pandemic, again, what has happened is even when it comes to organizations, there are many of them who are looking at outsourcing to, third party counselors. Made it could be online, or it could be like, actually face to face, whichever way. So as a freelancer, or, like, I mean, you can work on retainership basis also. So options are plenty. It all depends on how, as an individual, you want to take the initiative and take your career ahead. So again, the same thing goes with life coaching, because now if you go to see both these professions as such, whichever one you stick to, whether it is counseling for mental health well-being, or for career counseling, or for life coaching, it's all about what kind of outcomes you have got from the other person. And the person, like, who has received something from you will definitely go and speak another word about you. So that word of mouth publicity is what helps you to grow. Like today, though, I mean, touchwood, I have a full-time job and all, but I also have a few personal clients, and that's only because of the word of mouth publicity. So sometimes I have to say, like, I mean, post 5 p.m., I'd like to take my time out, spend some time with myself. So I have to space out my calls accordingly. But that's how it is, like, So it's totally up to an individual as to what level you want to really take it to.
Yes, and moreover, one has to develop oneself over time.
Over time.
It's true for any profession. If you want to grow in your profession, you have to continuously upgrade yourself, develop.
You have to continuously upgrade yourself, because so many new things keep coming. Like I said, I mean, even in psychotherapy today, like, I mean, for a simple thing, like, we are talking about drama based therapy. If you talk about, like, okay, one is using drama, the other is using the psychodrama, then you have the throwback, like, so I mean, there are so many which are coming up within that drama based therapy. So what is it that you are going to use? And you need to keep upgrading yourself by learning, by reading, by doing your own ways of researching to see. Because again, what happens is not every individual is the same. What approach may work with one may not work with the other. So I can't go by a standard operating process and say that, okay, like, I'm into career counseling, so these are my set things. It doesn't happen that way, because every individual who comes is different from the other. So it's by way of conversation. So which means you can add on another skill. It's the art of conversation, which also one has to develop. If you know how to, like, start a conversation, know how to lead the conversation to what you're actually wanting to talk about, these things do matter a lot.
Okay, so finally tell me, if one joins this career option, so what could be the probable, I mean, because I'm saying probable, or their earnings maybe, because they, because we are guiding the students, so they should have an idea that if I come to this profession, so at the initial level, because it definitely that it will increase over the time with experience
Absolutely.
and exposure. And so at the basic level, how much one can expect to earn from this
I
profession?
mean, if you're talking about again counseling, starting as a counselor in any school at school level and all, again depends which school. Is it an international school? Because depending on the school, the pay scale and everything matters. But looking at the current economical situation and the way the value of rupee has also increased, at least a starting of 25 would be there. And again, if you're doing your own
Yeah, as a
freelancing, as in, like, I
freelance.
mean, your own profession, you're setting up just like one-on-one counseling sessions, then initially, like, I mean, you can start off with something like 300 an hour and then take it to 500. And then as you keep establishing yourself, as the word spreads around, you can go on increasing. And once you have established yourself, then, like, you can just quote, because I do know of counselors who will charge 10,000 for that 1 hour, which will include certain tests, as well as, like, the consultation and everything. Yeah. So you have to develop and grow, but you can definitely begin with that kind of thing. But then again,
A
I would
good
always
amount, I
say
think.
this is a profession where you need to, like, understand a little bit about life, also understand about people, the way people think, the way people's mind operates. So
A
which is
people
why,
skill.
like,
You have to develop people
yeah,
skill.
you have to have
Actually.
develop people skills, because you need to feel the pulse of the person. So it's only when you feel the pulse of the person that that instinct is there to guide you what question next. So that's how it is.
And finally, what advice do you want to give the new generation students who would like to join this profession?
So my advice to anybody who wants to join this profession, the entire focus begins from self. In the sense, it's all about self-development. So the more time we can give to understanding ourselves, the better we will be able to understand the other person. So it's about living with awareness. I should be able to understand from what triggers me, what triggers my anger, what triggers my frustration, what triggers my happiness. So the moment I understand, like, from where I am operating, I will be able to guide the other person who's coming to me for any kind of counseling or advice or coaching. So life begins with the self, and the more we get in touch with ourselves, the better it is. That much more progress you can make in this profession.
That's very nice, because we have to understand ourselves first.
Yes.
So this is true for all profession, actually.
Yes.
Whichever profession.
Actually, it's true for all profession,
because
but especially for this,
especially
because
this, yes.
yeah, when you are dealing with other people, I mean, if I'm not able to handle my own self or understand my own self, I don't
Yes.
think I should be sitting here to, give anyone else any
Giving
kind of thing.
advice to others.
And with respect to other professions, yes, it matters, because as you keep climbing up the ladder, the more people you're going to be dealing with, it definitely helps. It helps you to develop your people skills also when you
Yes.
are in touch with your own self. So that's why it's important.
Yeah, another thing, the good part is that anybody from any career option, they can shift to this career path if they
True.
feel that this is where their heart lies. So there is no hard and bound rules that you have to undergo
Yes,
this
absolutely.
particular set of education to come here. Yeah, but one needs to have certain training to develop oneself.
Yes.
That's
I mean, one should have a liking for it. One should, and I would say, like, I mean, maybe because I have traveled and moved around and played around with other things before I finally came here, which I think gives me an added advantage to be in this position. So I always feel that being on this side, whether you're into counseling or coaching, it is so important for us also as individuals to have seen and understood life in a way where, we are able to guide other people how to deal with life lessons, life challenges, because there's so much of uncertainty. And like I said, if you look at the current issues that keep coming up, relationship issues, anxiety, panic attacks, and these can all be dealt with only if we ourselves have gone through our own share of similar issues to know, what really is going to work for the other person.
yes. So thank you so much for describing so elaborately about this career option and other skills and everything. We get to know a detailed insight of this profession. Thank you so much, Arpita ma'am, for coming into Edvita. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. It's really been great interacting with you. Thanks.
Bye.
Life coaching is a fantastic career option for those willing to invest in themselves and their growth. A certified life coach needs to be highly motivated and committed towards success to be able to grow financially as well as emotionally in the coaching journey. A life coach is the change catalyst who works with the client in identifying goals, improving focus, developing clarity, and working on strategies. Becoming a certified life coach is an exciting journey for those looking to seek a profession that is highly satisfying as a career goal. You can contact Arpita Ghosh on the number 8424859028 to know details about the courses offered by Christ University Pune Lavasa campus. Moreover, these days, plethora of coaching centers offer life coach certification courses. But the coaching centers that offer life coach courses accredited by the International Coach Federation (ICF) or the European Mentoring and Coaching Council (EMCC) are recommended. The scope of a life coach is large, and an individual needs to select which area interests them the most to begin a career in life coaching. A life coach can also choose to coach people in the areas of career coaching, leadership coaching, business coaching, wellness coaching, executive coaching, sales coaching, personal coaching, relationship coaching, and many more. The choice is entirely your which area you want to explore. I hope today's episode will be beneficial to all the aspirants who want to come into the profession of life coaching. Stay tuned for the upcoming sessions where we will be discussing about various other professions in details. Do like, share, and subscribe our channel. Thank you.